We've all flipped on the news and seen these types of reports. People talking about the negative effects of social media, cell phone use, etc. With all this reporting about the negative effects of technology, I began thinking about the concept of virtue and just actions, and how it relates to leisurely technology usage. So today, I will be taking a look into technology and how it relates to the theory of virtue ethics given by the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle in his doctrine of the mean. In this doctrine, Aristotle argues the point that virtue is a point that lies between two extremes or two vices. Let's take the virtue of courage, for example. In the context of bravery and confidence, a courageous action is the virtuous and noble one to make. A deficiency in this field would result in being a coward, where an excess of it would result in being rash. Now, before I relate Aristotle's claim to technology through a philosophical lens, I want to share why this topic is relevant to a lot of people around the world. When it comes to material culture, I think I could safely say that our devices are extremely important in each of our lives. Devices, such as phones and laptops, are probably some of the most important material objects everyone watching this has. Most of us use our devices every day for school, work, communication, entertainment, and so much more. We value our phones especially as almost an extension of ourselves because without them, we often feel uncomfortable. I know I do, and I asked some peers about their technology use outside of school and work, and this is what they had to say. Do you think you spend too much time on technology a day?
Personally, I think I do because I get too caught up in Instagram and YouTube, and it digs into the time of work and homework.
Yes, most days, yes.
I think I definitely spend too much time on technology outside of school and work. Just in between like going and doing my homework, I'll get on TikTok or YouTube or something and just be at it for maybe even an hour, maybe two.
Now, to relate leisurely technology use to Aristotle's claim. I think it is pretty obvious to make the case that an excess amount of technology is wrong. There are tons of studies showing the negative side effects of technology, such as addiction. For example, a study posted on the National Library of Medicine showed mobile phone dependence in over 30% of the participants. Being able to show that an excess amount is unvirtuous is one thing, though are there times in which a deficiency of technology in our spare time is wrong? I asked my good friend Adam this question, who is in his senior year majoring in philosophy at the University of St. Thomas.
Consider the thing properly, how it's being used, either as a communication means or entertainment or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And say, obviously, in that case, I think you can see where there'd be a deficiency. Like if you are, if your state of life is such that you really need this kind of thing to keep up with people you ought to be communicating with, then deficiency is, clearly a problem. Like if you're not being able to communicate with people the way you should, or even for entertainment, if you're so against the use of social media that you don't have any sort of leisure in that sphere, to the extent that it's causing you harm as a human being, you're off balance. Clearly that's a deficiency.
Adam highlighted that the virtue of the situation depends on your state of life. If you are failing at communication, then there is a deficiency. So it would be virtuous to use the apps you use to message or keep up with others. Another point he brought up is that if you are overly cautious in using social media or technology for downtime, and you are actually not relaxing and unwinding properly, then it could also be labeled as a deficiency in that area. So, this claim that Aristotle drafted over 2,000 years ago does seem to hold true today. There seems to be a healthy amount of technology in between not using it at all and using it too much for specific situations. I cannot give you specific numbers as to what the virtuous amount is for each situation. Though if you're going to take something away from this video, it is that you should question your motives for using apps like social media. Challenge yourself and ask questions such as, am I using this app to relax? If so, what do I think a healthy amount of time to spend on it each day would be? Am I indulging in an excess amount of technology? Is it pulling me away from other areas of my life? Am I keeping my phone on me right now to communicate with others? Understand why you are using the devices you are, and if you subscribe to Aristotle's theory, then try to live out a more virtuous life.